Okay, so today we will be discussing our essay number 5, and the topic of the essay was India's foreign policy from newly independent state to the global power. This will also help you in the foreign policy of India as such and international relation. The essay everybody wrote was overall a good essay, not not very excellent one, because most of you wrote about the relations, India's relations with other countries. Okay, it was not basically about India's relations. India's relations are due to its foreign policy, but foreign policy is a bit different. Okay, so let's start the discussion. So this is the topic: India's foreign policy from newly independent state to a global power. Okay, so here are two keywords, that is newly independent state and now a global power. So the essay almost itself accepts that now we are a global power, and it is somehow reality also that we are considered as a global power right now, because our opinion, India's opinion, is being valued in international community from a newly independent state till global power. Okay, so first we can, in the introduction part, we can write, most of the students wrote introduction good. Introduction part we can write that India's foreign policy did not evolve after 1947, but it was way before that time. Okay, there were a few incidents, and that were helpful in the evolution of India's foreign policy since World War One. End of World War One, we can say that India started its foreign policy through various channels. End of World War One, for example, from the support to Ottoman Empire, that is Caliphate, right? From that till 1947, there were few incidents that we can talk about, right, in the introduction part, because before this Caliphate part, before supporting this, or before World War One, Indians basically they did not have much to do with international politics or international relations. They were basically confined with their own, Swaraj, demand of Swaraj. During World War One, when the forces were sent by the British, and declaring India as a belligerent state, the forces from India were sent. So that was one of the that was one when the foreign policy evolved and when it was opposed, right? And then through this Ottoman Empire and support of Caliphate, due to Indian Muslims and the Khilafat Andolan, India tried. India started its foreign policy in a way. Then the League of Nations. India was one of the founding members, right? And after that, a lot of things, including International Labour Organization, right? Then World War Second, right? In the World War Second also we can write about different perspective. We can talk about Subhash Chandra Bose's perspective, and other the Congress perspective or Mahatma Gandhi perspective, right? They supported British and he supported the Axis powers, right? So these were also part of foreign policies depending upon their own theories, because Subhash Chandra Bose, he thought that they will get independence by the help of, because it was the time to uproot British by the help of force, and Mahatma Gandhi has his own philosophy, or the Congress had its own philosophy, that they will, if they help British, because they were against the brutality or Nazism of the Axis power, and they wanted the independence. Okay, like this you can start, or also you can introduce with 1947 also, right? From the very first day, the midnight of 15th August, when India got independence. So you can start from there also. There were a lot of challenges, and one of the challenge was the foreign policy. So like this you can introduce. And in the body part, most of the students, most of the learners missed one thing, was that they did not write the components of foreign policy. Okay, So components of foreign policy are very important. Like India, always for India, sovereign interests are always above its economic interest. So this is one of the major pillar of India's foreign policy, that we will not compromise with our sovereignty even a little bit. We may compromise with our economic interests. So sovereign interests are the foremost interest, and then economic interest. That means we can lose any economic, transaction or any economic treaty, but we cannot even lose 1 inch of our territory, or even any decision making power. We cannot give up upon our decision making power for any kind of economic interest. That is what is meant by always sovereign interest or strategic interest over economic interest. So now the components of foreign policy. First is the national interest. Second is the geography, or the geographical and political location. These both are different, right? Geographical location means that means physical. If we talk about physical map, like what are our resources, water resources, right? These type of things, because these resources are also important part of any country's foreign policy. And then the political location, that is the neighborhood, right? Then third part is the nature and relation with the neighbors. And fourth would be the international environment. So these are 4 components or 4 pillars of India's foreign policy, or any foreign policy for that matter, any country's foreign policy. Okay. So first is national interest, as we talked. So you can mention this, and then you can mention every aspect. National interest, evolution of national interest from 1947 till today, how geography and political factors, location factors has affected, how its relation with its neighbor has been, modified over the period of time, and how international environment has been modified. So on these 4 factors, you can write the whole essay. Second thing in the essay you can talk about was, in a lot of thinkers would suggest that there are 6 phases of India's foreign policy. Okay. These are these 6 phases, and every phase is marked by something important, right? So, sorry. 1998 till 2013. Sorry, I forgot. Okay. So these are 6 phases, and every phase is marked by something important. The first phase, that is 1947, is marked by our independence, in 1962 by War of China. Second phase, from Chinese War till Bangladesh Liberation War. Third phase, from Bangladesh Liberation till LPG reforms. Fourth phase, till Kargil War. Fifth phase, till new government, latest government, and now the current government. So these are 6 phases. Every phase has its own importance. If we talk about all the 4 factors that we read, and if we can put every factor, all the 4 factors in each phase, then our essay is almost done. Okay. So first phase, this phase is called as optimistic non-alignment, right? So what was the national interest at that time? That we needed economic reforms, we needed friends, right? We needed someone to help us hand-holding support. So this was the national interest at the time of 1947, or during this time. So Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, right? One thing, and second was the Panchi. So if we talk about the geographical and political location, right? So for geographical location, resources were not, India was not very much resource rich country, and even the resources that we have were not easily extractable because we lack the technology. In context of political neighborhood or political location, we are located in South Asia. Our neighborhood was a bit troubled due to Pakistan and East Pakistan. also. And third point was relation with neighbors. Our relation with Pakistan was not very good, a kind of warlike situation in 1948, and then Panchil due to Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, and then 1962 war. The fourth pillar was international environment. So international environment at that time was Cold War, and India's policy was non-alignment movement. International environment was decolonization. A lot of colonies were started to get decolonized. So India's policy was to support them, right? So this was the whole phase. If we talk about all the four factors in 1947 to 1962, so these are the four phases, and you can write at least one or two paragraph in each of the phase. Okay. So most of the students did not elaborate this part. Now the topic is newly independent state, right? So 1947 to 1962, the first phase was very important because the topic was newly independent state till today, till global power, right? So this phase had to be explained very well. So as I told, the four factors and this phase you could have explained very easily. Okay. Then 1962 till 1971, this phase is called as realism. Okay, the decade of realism. That when in 1962, because before that we were in an independent state, newly independent state, so that there was a trust, right? But 1962 China war, because we were optimist earlier, but it showed us some reality, right? Now, what was the national interest? To protect the borders, right? So, what was the main concern? Was to protect the borders. So, strengthening the army, or strengthening the military, or strengthening the defense mechanism. So, national interest here was strengthening the defense. Then, geographical and political location, that somehow did not change during this phase. It was similar, not very much resource rich, still not much use of technology, right? Still not very much technologically advanced, so that's fine. Then relations with neighbors, Pakistan 1965 war, and then 1971 Bangladesh war of liberation, right? So you can talk about all these, right? This was an important part of India's foreign policy. And then international relation or international environment, what was there? If you have heard about this PL 480 program, right? So India got food grains of inferior quality under this PL 480 from USA. One thing. So Green Revolution. It was also somehow part of international or foreign policy. Second was due to USA's support to Pakistan, India had to sign Treaty of Friendship with USSR. So a bit tilt towards USSR, India during this phase, 1962 to 1971. So all the four factors you can write it here like this. The third part, that is 1971 to 1991, this phase is called as regional assertiveness. Now, due to 1971 war, India was somehow got the status of regional power. So our topic was from independence till global power. So at this stage, we are a bit known as the regional power due to this war and due to liberation of Bangladesh, because as we helped Bangladesh in liberation, and all the neighbors except Pakistan and China were friendly neighbors, okay, including the Sri Lanka. And during this phase, India helped Sri Lanka to get rid of LTT. Okay, so this was also one of the important phase. So national interest was again aligned towards economic interest. Now our economy was closed till 1991 in this phase, so we were not getting much support from outside, and very less import and export were there, and that's why we needed employment generation. and poverty elevation. During this phase only, 1972 Stockholm Conference for environment. So India was one of the first countries to accept this conference and accept and brought the Wildlife Protection Act and Biodiversity Act. Okay, Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. India was one of the first countries. So this was also part of foreign policy, the Stockholm Conference. So no one discussed this part also. This was an important part. Then 1991 LPG reforms. Sorry, in 1974 Smiling Buddha. So this brought a lot of international sanctions, but still we stood tall, right? And we, because our sovereign interest has always outnumbered the economic interest. So most important part was our sovereign interest always. So that is one of the reason that even after international sanctions we didn't fall out anything. But 1991 a lot of things happened. One was USSR, disintegration of USSR, and we were good friends of USSR. So the world became unipolar, from bipolar to unipolar world, and we, under the pressure of IMF due to our current account deficit and balance of payment crisis, we had to open our economy and brought the LPG reforms. So this was also one major part of our foreign policy, right? So international environment, bipolar world to unipolar world, internal needs, national interest to improve our financial situation, to improve our economy, we had to bring LPG reforms. Fine. Then comes the phase of 1991 till 1998. Till now, what we have got, we have become a regional power. So from an independent state, newly independent state, to getting into realism, सच्चाई का ज्ञान, whatever, right? And then we have become a regional power till 1991, and now we have also opened our economy. So when a country becomes a regional power, then the responsibility increases, right? So what is the now responsibility? Now the responsibility was taken by Gujarat Doctrine and India's neighborhood first policy. So you need to write about the Gujarat Doctrine, that there are 5 points of Gujarat Doctrine. Basically, non-interference, mutual interference, non-reciprocation. Like, because the countries like Bhutan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, they were smaller countries, smaller economies. So we were not inclined towards reciprocation. We were we were helping them without any self-interest. Okay, so non-reciprocation, non-aggression, and one major thing was we will not allow our territories to be used against each other. So these were few things of the Gujarat Doctrine, and it culminated into the neighborhood first policy. So when we are a regional power during this time, so what we became was a regional power, and the neighborhood first policy came into being in this period through Gujarat Doctrine, right? Second thing in this period was the Pokhran test, and what happened, we became a nuclear power. India became a nuclear power, and again a lot of sanctions. So this was the highlight of this phase, mainly Gujarat Doctrine, and second was the nuclear power. Okay. After that, 1998 till 2013. Now we are a good power in the South Asia. Now we need to improve our assertiveness, right? So 1999 Kargil War. Then a lot of things happened during this phase. What was first? First was look east policy. Why we needed this? Because 1991 USSR was disintegrated. Now we have to look towards USA and its allies from Southeast Asia. So basically, lookist policy was targeted towards Southeast Asia, and as our economy has opened and Southeast Asia was our neighbor, extended neighborhood, plus also economically developed, right? So it was economically developed, and we turned towards our lookist policy during this. And then a lot of things, including the civil nuclear deal with USA 2007, right? It also happened, and it was ratified in 2008. A lot of internal turmoil it was seen in this period also, right? And constant, we are always in constant loggerheads with the Pakistan. So in the neighborhood, we were troubled by Pakistan, or there were a lot of small incidents, including the parliament attack. Okay, in the world level, we talked about lookist policy and then Kargil war. These were the few points of this period. Now comes the major part, again the major part, becoming a global power. So we are on the way of becoming a global power from 2013 till now. By 2013, we have a stable economy, good relation with almost every country except a few, right? And we had a stable government. 2014 elections gave us a stable government, and when the government is stable, then policy making, specifically the international policy, that can be made, that can be strengthened. Okay, so under this, lot of things happen, and we are towards becoming a global power. Now we can explain this part in a bit broad sense, from lookist to actist. Can explain this one. Then look west for the Middle East. That is the West Asia. You can call it a Middle East or West Asia. And India's policy towards Israel and Palestine. That is, India has now de-hyphenated both the countries and will maintain separate ties with Israel and separate ties with Palestine. Right? So India's policy towards Middle East, India's oil diplomacy, India's Chabahar port, India's and then India's Africa policy, India East Africa Summit, India Africa Summit. These types of things need to write, because now we are going to become a global power, and when we are going to become a global power, then that means we are now connecting with every, all the countries, maximum countries as possible. So India Africa's policy, Southeast Asia through Act East, West Asia policy, and then Africa, and then India EU PTIA. You can talk about that. India Indo-ASEAN summits, and India moving away from SAARC towards BIMSTEC. You can talk about this. So these were few points in the neighborhood, and then extended neighborhood, and then Africa. Then India's Sagar policy, security and growth for all in the region, right? Then Indian Ocean Rim Association, India's policy regarding that. India's military exercises with different countries, can talk about that. So lot of things, right? And then finally India in the UN Security Council reforms. So these are all the product of India's foreign policy, and also few of Operation Rahat, Operation Maitri with Nepal earthquake, and in Yemen. Okay, so the diaspora. Finally, the diaspora, Indian diaspora. So before 2013, our situation was stable, and after that we were in a condition. What were the condition? Stable government, stable economy, and everything. We were in a condition now to call ourselves a global power. So like this, you can conclude that from the 1947 till 2021 or till today, we have evolved according to the needs of the hour for ourselves and the international conditions at that time. We can also talk about India being one of the leading countries talking about the environment and one of the first countries to sign the Paris Climate Deal, international solar alliances, and we can also talk about due to all these things from the environmental diplomacy to oil diplomacy, okay, from the military exercises to the defense equipment purchases, we have grown from a newly independent country in 1947 who was talking about economic reforms and mere survival to a global power who is pushing for United Nations security reforms and who has been supported throughout the its journey by the lot of countries, and in the recent time the vaccine diplomacy. And you can end with the COVID vaccine diplomacy, that we are one of the largest provider of international supplier of vaccines, and also we got a lot of vaccine support from international community due to our status today. Okay, so in this way you can structure your answer till from 1947 till 2021. Okay, so this was the essay, and it was not about India's relation with individual countries. Okay, it was about holistic India's foreign policy. Okay. Any question? Okay, so India's foreign policy is also very important part. So I would suggest that you read this book, Democracy in India, Issues and Challenges. And this is 12th class old NCRT for Indian polity. Okay, so the last unit, India and the world, there are 6-7 chapters, and it is very important for India's foreign policy and India's international relation. For GS paper 2, international relation part, 50 marks question minimum, 50 to 75 marks paper comes from this part, and also it will be very helpful if you write any essay on foreign policy or India's foreign interest. And it is highly probable that any essay regarding foreign policy may be asked this year, because it hasn't been asked for past 2-3 years. One thing, and again, India's foreign policy is very important for India right now, because it is one of the game-changing policies, and it has improved India's stature, and it has also improved. When there is a good foreign policy, and when a country becomes a global power or increases its status in the global scenario, then it gets a lot of domestic benefits also. For that, we can give an example of, even we are not the member of NSC, right? But still we have civil nuclear deals with around 12 countries. Okay, so this is one of the things, that this is one of the benefits that we get. So for foreign policy, this essay was important. For CS paper 2 also, this essay was important. Okay, so I think it is this is it, and we can conclude the session, right?